Yes. Is everything alright? Yes. Yes.
Following my visit to Australia until yesterday, I have been on an official visit to India for 2 days, from yesterday, the 19th, to today, the 20th. After arriving in Delhi yesterday, I boarded an Indian Air Force aircraft and visited the Western Naval Command in Mumbai as well as an active-duty destroyer of the Indian Navy. I was accompanied by the Chief of the Naval Staff of the Indian Navy from Delhi and received a great welcome. Mumbai is not only a major base for the Indian Navy, but also one of the ports of call for Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force vessels engaged in counter-piracy operations, and it has a deep connection with Japan. When Prime Minister Kishida visited India, a joint exercise between Japanese and Indian vessels was also held off the coast of Mumbai to coincide with his visit. I believe it was highly significant that, as the first Japanese defense minister to visit Mumbai, a city with such deep ties to Japan, I was able to directly witness the high capabilities and morale of the Indian Navy and reaffirm the importance of Japan-India defense cooperation. Then, this morning, I visited the National War Memorial and, after receiving an honor guard from the Indian Armed Forces, I held my first defense ministerial meeting with the new defense minister. At the Ministry of Defense, we first reaffirmed our commitment to rapidly realize, from a defense perspective, the trusted partnership that shares a strategic direction, as agreed upon between Prime Minister Kishida and Prime Minister Modi during the Prime Minister's visit to India this July. We also agreed to further accelerate the 3 areas of cooperation that Japan and India have been working on so far. First, regarding defense equipment and technology cooperation, we reaffirmed our commitment to cooperate, including on internal Indian procedures, aiming for a 2+2 agreement under the momentum created by both sides, in order to realize the transfer of the US-2 to India at an early date. Second, regarding cooperation between our armed forces, we noted that joint training between our respective services is steadily expanding and evolving. In particular, I welcomed the fact that the upcoming joint air exercise, Veer Guardian, will mark the first time that Japan Air Self-Defense Force fighter jets will visit India. Third, we agreed to work together to concretize the expansion and evolution of cooperation with third countries, including Southeast Asian nations, and within the Japan-US-India-Australia framework, in order to contribute together to peace and stability in the region and the world. To further elevate Japan-India defense cooperation to new heights, we have decided to move forward with 6 new initiatives. First, we signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Maritime Security Cooperation, which will serve as a guideline for concrete collaboration between the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and the Indian Navy. This is the first time the Ministry of Defense has signed a document specifically focused on maritime security cooperation with a foreign nation. Second, as a concrete measure under this memorandum, we agreed to pursue the transfer of equipment to strengthen the Indian Navy's mine countermeasures capabilities, as well as explore possibilities for joint development of naval vessels and design. I proposed calling this broad direction, Design with Japan, Make in India, which was welcomed by Defense Minister Singh. Third, to contribute dynamically to the security of sea lanes in the Indo-Pacific, we agreed to advance mutual repairs and maintenance of vessels at each other's shipyards. Fourth, we agreed to advance future defense equipment and technology cooperation through 2 distinct tracks. The first track involves discussions on operational cooperation between our respective armed forces. The second track involves cooperation between our equipment authorities on the research and development of cutting-edge defense technologies. We agreed to strengthen our efforts through these 2 tracks. Fifth, regarding the testing and training of our defense equipment, I informed Minister Singh that I would like to consider the use of Indian facilities by the self-defense forces. We will discuss this with the Indian side ahead of the upcoming 2+2 meeting. Finally, to ensure these initiatives, including those mentioned above, are integrated and swiftly implemented, we agreed to establish a new working group led by Director General level officials from both sides. Prime Minister Kishida and Prime Minister Modi have already agreed to hold a 2+2 meeting within this year. Under the leadership of Minister Singh and myself, I intend to deepen discussions further to ensure we achieve concrete results that can be reviewed at that defense ministerial meeting. I will be paying a courtesy call on Prime Minister Modi later today. Building on the outcomes of today's Japan-India defense delegation visit, I intend to convey our determination to swiftly and concretely advance Japan-India defense relations under the leadership of Prime Minister Kishida and Prime Minister Modi, together with Minister Singh. Finally, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Government of India and the Ministry of Defense, including Minister Singh, for the warm welcome extended to us, including the visits to the two naval facilities in Mumbai yesterday and today's meetings with the Minister of Defense. That is all for my opening remarks. We will now take questions. Yes, please. This is Inoue from the Yomiuri Shimbun. Regarding the exchanges between the two countries following the abolition of the licensing requirements, what specific discussions took place concerning the sharing of defense equipment? Also, what is your policy on how the two countries will proceed with future consultations regarding equipment transfers? Yes. In the meeting, I explained the Japanese government's 3 principles on transfer of defense equipment and technology and the revisions to the implementation guidelines, stating that these will further strengthen Japan's contribution to peace and stability in the region and the world. In response, Minister Singh expressed his welcome and his expectation that these revisions would lead to further evolution in our bilateral defense cooperation. Minister Singh and I shared the recognition that the Unicorn project, as our first equipment project between the two countries, serves as a symbol of our evolving defense cooperation, and we reaffirmed our commitment to cooperate on internal Indian procedures, aiming for a 2+2 meeting and maintaining momentum through our mutual support for an early realization. Furthermore, we shared the understanding that this Unicorn project is not the goal, but the starting point for future evolution in equipment cooperation, and we agreed to advance further projects in a concrete manner. That is as I mentioned earlier. In addition, we agreed to pursue the possibility of transferring equipment that contributes to strengthening the Indian Navy's mine countermeasure capabilities, as well as joint development of naval vessel design and construction. Minister Singh also expressed his support for this. I intend to deepen these discussions through various channels, including those between our military officials, policy authorities, and equipment procurement authorities.
Yes.
Shiro from Kyoto News. Minister, you have emphasized building security cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region and frequently held talks with defense ministers from Australia and Indonesia. Could you please explain the importance of advancing defense cooperation with India, a major power in the region? Also, our two countries have been strengthening joint exercises. Could you share your views on the significance of advancing this cooperation following your current visit? Certainly. With the security environment in the Indo-Pacific, including the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, becoming rapidly more complex and uncertain, the responsibility and role that Japan and India must fulfill to maintain the international order are growing ever greater. When Prime Minister Kishida visited India last month, he and Prime Minister Modi agreed to strengthen Japan-India relations as trusted partners sharing the same strategic direction. Following that, I held talks with Minister Singh today. In today's meeting as well, from the perspective of swiftly elevating Japan-India defense relations, we held energetic and concrete discussions on collaboration across a wide range of fields to strengthen defense cooperation under the vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. We agreed not only to accelerate our existing efforts but also to move forward by engaging in new initiatives. Regarding the joint exercises you mentioned, they are currently conducted across all branches of our forces, and we will continue to strengthen them further. For instance, as I mentioned earlier, for the upcoming Veer Guardian air exercise, Japan Air Self-Defense Force fighter jets are scheduled to visit India for the first time, and Minister Singh and I welcome this. Furthermore, from the perspective of contributing together to the peace and stability of the Indo-Pacific region, cooperation and coordination with third countries, including those in Southeast Asia and Australia, are essential. In today's meeting, we also discussed various ways to collaborate with these countries, including on the operational front. As I mentioned earlier regarding Indonesia, we were also able to share the understanding that we should advance cooperation among our 3 nations: Indonesia, India, and Japan. Today, I would like to hold a thorough discussion with Prime Minister Modi from this strategic perspective. That is all.
As we have a schedule following this, that concludes my remarks. Yes, here we go.